Hey guys, welcome back to the Calibrate Tools and DIY channel. Every Tuesday we are here to provide you with uh, the information that you need concerning everything home improvement, DIY, the trades. That's all we promote on this channel. So anybody into that, come on in and check us out. Today we're going to talk about that time of year. That time of year is here. That time of year is here for all the festivities to take place. But with that comes risk, right? Comes risk. So, and I'm going to talk about something I've spoken about on many lives before this, but I feel that it's very important to reiterate um, these things because sometimes we forget. In the heat of the moment, we forget certain things. So I'm going to go over it again. Going to talk about hazards, risks, okay, that are multiplied uh, during this time of year, right? End of the year festivities. So let's talk about it. Let's dive right into it. Come on in, chat, guys. By the way, um, this live, like all the others, are sponsored by Calibrate.com. Go to Calibrate.com, guys, and we got some great products over there, some great gift items for you to partake in, and it also supports the channel. To be quite frank with you, it supports the channel, and I appreciate everybody that supports in that way by going over there and purchasing some of the products we have. You won't be disappointed. I'm constantly on the lookout for new products to help make you guys' lives easier. So check us out. Links in the description. Okay. So yeah, let's get back to it. Without further ado, title of the live is Holiday House Hazards. Okay. Let's dive into it. Well, like I said, this time of year it can be very dangerous, to be honest with you, when it comes to celebrating. I know that doesn't go together, but it does. Did you know that 51% of all house fires start because of what activity? What do we do during the holiday season that we don't do as much during the rest of the year? What do we all what do we do? We like to cook, right? Cook. Like to eat, like to eat and drink and all that good stuff. But you know that 51% of all fires, house fires, are started because of cooking, right? Yeah, people leave things on, you know, all kinds of stuff, right? People forget that they have stuff on the stove, stuff in the oven, and next thing you know, everything goes up in flames. Okay, so you don't want to leave your food unattended if you want to keep your happy home that you worked on all year, that you did all those DIY projects on. You don't want it to go up in flames just because you forgot something's on during the holidays. Okay, so number one, never leave your food unattended. Okay, if you're going to be frying stuff, be careful with that as well, right? Everybody likes to fry, especially with all these new appliances out there like deep fryers and air fryers and all this good stuff. Uh, become very popular lately, right? So you want to watch that. Okay, so um, you want to avoid turkey fry, like frying turkeys and stuff like that. That's I know a lot of people do that, but you're taking a risk with those appliances. A lot of fat is dropping from the meat, and believe it or not, that fat is like that's like gas. That's like gasoline. You know, that fat dripping from the meat and stuff. So that can really ignite ignite fires as well. So be careful with that. Um, if you have allergies and stuff like that as well, you got to read those labels. I got friends that they're allergic to all kinds of things that I wouldn't even think of. Almonds, eggs, stuff like that. You want to read labels, okay? Everybody can't eat the same thing you eat. Everybody's body chemistry is different. So if you're looking out for your family and all that, your friends, make sure that they're able to eat what you make, right, or what you're cooking with, right? Um, there's another thing too. If you got a lot of undercooked meat that you don't know is undercooked, that can cause people to fall ill as well. So just some of the safety um, precautions you should take in the kitchen, right? Remember, house fires are caused by what? Cooking. Okay, the majority of house fires are caused by cooking on holiday season. right? And I know a lot of us, you know, a lot of people, I should say, during the holiday season like to decorate and all that stuff. But next month, December, is actually the peak month for fires. What kind of fires? Candle fires. You know, candle sales have probably gone through the roof already. But they say, let me see, 24% of all candle fires occur during the month of December. Right? That's a lot. That's a lot of candle fires. I like candles. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with candles. I've lit a few in my day. Um, but a lot, it's not that the candle itself is bad. It's like we leave them unattended, right? And when you leave stuff unattended or unsupervised, things happen, right? So watch out for those candles, especially you got kids around, you got pets around that could knock the candle hose over. If you're going to light a candle, make sure it's in something stable, and probably I would probably put it up a little higher than where a pet can reach or a small child can reach. Okay, so um, watch out for those. Let's see. Let's dive a little bit more into the candles. As I was doing the research on this, it says use sturdy holders for candles, right? You don't want anything flimsy to put your candles in. Okay. They could always tip over. They can fall off of something if they're not fastened correctly. You definitely want to make sure that they're out. The candle is out, like the flame is out. You don't want to let it burn all the way down to the bottom. Okay. That's not something you want to do. Like I said, don't leave them alone, and you don't want to put them in like bedrooms and stuff. I know a lot of people put their candles in the bedrooms, and we know why they do that, right? You know, spice it up or whatever. But that's very dangerous too, to fall asleep with candles in the room on. You know, so make sure you blow them out, and just a warning there. And you don't want to put them like really close to the walls or anything really. You want to you leave some clearance around that candle. And you definitely don't want to put it around something that can ignite very quickly, right? Like paper or I don't know, something very flammable. You know, you don't want to put them around those either. So make sure your candles have a lot of clearance. And I even saw uh, in some articles I read that you can even buy fake candles. They got fake candles. I didn't even know they have fake candles out there. That shows you where I've been. But they do have flameless candle technology out there in the world. So if you're really into candles, you really need it that bad, consider uh, investing in some fake candles. You know, why not, right? They got fake flowers, they got fake grass, they got fake this, fake that today. Why not, to keep yourself safe during holiday season or any time of year? If you like candles, you like, pyromaniac, you like fire and all that, invest in something fake for the sake of your family. Okay. All right. So that's something to think about on that. What else there? What else should we think about during the holiday season? Okay. Um, it says some parts of the holiday season affect you whether you plan to celebrate or not. Okay. Property damage is a big thing. Property damage is a big thing during the winter season. Okay, so you got to prepare for that. So if you're in a area where it gets cold and snows a lot, you definitely want to have the right tools to kind of you know do some preventative maintenance, or at least be able to tackle it when a big snowfall happens. You want to have the right tools, right? Shovels. Okay, you want to have probably salt. You want to keep some bags of salt around to help melt that snow. You want a scraper, right? In case you got to drive during those. Well, everybody has a drive during those times. You want something to be able to scrape the the snow off of your windshield, right? So you'll be able to see these small things that you wish you had when a storm hits, right? And you realize, damn, I should have had this. Now I can't really go anywhere. It's gonna be a hassle to do this now. So you want to keep these things in place, right? Be prepared. Simple and plain. Be prepared. So um, it says water damage is also another big risk. Okay, that you want to try to avoid. Okay, so you want to definitely, one of the things you can do is make sure that your gutters are unclogged. Right, you're just coming off the fall season, and a lot of leaves are probably packed up in your gutter. This is this is one of the reasons roof maintenance is really important all year round, right? Especially if you have gutters and drains and stuff like that. Make sure they're unclogged. Inspect your roof every now and then, right? Don't just think, oh yeah, my roof is fine. That's one of the last things people think about is their roof, right? And then when a leak happens, or they notice a big wet spot on the walls inside their homes, they wonder what's going on. That's because you haven't been either draining your clearing your gutters out, or not inspecting your shingles, for any damage. And then when it's pretty much too late after that, now you got to spend a ton of money to fix this stuff. Okay. So, and during the wintertime, it's even worse because it's wet. This is the wet time of year. Okay. In certain parts of the world, the country, right? Especially in northern climates. So you want to make sure you keep an eye on those. The pipes do burst, right, during winter season. So you want to make sure that you check your pipes as well. They even have they have devices that you can put around your pipes to help insulate them. And they have things like heating tape as well to keep the pipes from freezing and cracking and busting. So you can look into that too, right? If you got a chimney, furnace, fireplace, all that good stuff, you want to make sure that you clean those, right? Last thing you want is a clogged up chimney. That can definitely contribute to a fire as well. Okay, so if you got that, make sure those are clean. Got like a wood stove, things like that. Things where you're burning stuff inside the home, control fires. Make sure that the perimeter of those places are secure as well. So, where sparks can fly out of those things and, start a fire as well if it's unattended. So you want to have the proper shield around that stuff as well. Okay. The sparks do pop and fly. Okay. So, and of course, it's common sense to don't have anything that's flammable around anything like a fireplace or something like that. Right. It doesn't make sense. And so, yeah, some of these things are less like common sense, right? But you'd be surprised of how many house fires start during the winter season or during the cold season, right? When people are trying to, stay warm, right? The heat sources that you use to stay warm, they have to be controlled and they have to be supervised, or otherwise it can be the end of your house or the end of lives, and we don't want that. All right, so what's another big object in the house during the holiday season that you have to keep an eye on? What do you think, guys? Leave it in the chat. Leave it in chat. Let me go ahead and check this. Hey, Berger Life Notes says combustible. Berger Life Notes, vegetarian alternatives to meat can cause allergies as well. Okay, that's right. Yeah, people think that a lot of these substitute meats and substitute foods are good, but you don't know what they're made of either, right? I'm not a big meat eater myself, even though I may look like it. But you got to be careful with that. Going back to the food stuff, you got to watch read the labels and stuff, because people do have allergies, and yeah, I mean, just because something is a vegetarian or organic and stuff like that, that does not mean it's good for you, right? They can have substitutes in there that can really mess you up. So she says, I can eat pea proteins and black beans, but not Impossible vegan options. Yeah. Impossible. I guess you're talking about Impossible Burger, though. Yeah, you just can't eat everything just because it sounds good and sounds healthy, right? Just don't fall for everything, right? Sometimes it's better to eat the traditional stuff than to eat something that may be detrimental to your health, right? So yeah. So anyway, thanks for that, Perigo Life Notes. That's a good point there, right? Don't be fooled and don't think that everything's healthy for you. Yeah. So what is that object in the house that during the holiday season or in your home, whatever it is, that it brings so much joy and to a lot of people's lives, right? They can't wait to put this object in their house during the holiday season. But it actually can be the cause of a lot of deaths as well. It's Christmas trees, right? Christmas trees. Yeah, granted, A lot of Christmas trees today have gotten, safer. They got fake Christmas trees and all that stuff. I don't even. Maybe they even have fire retardant safe Christmas trees. I'm pretty sure that's probably on the market somewhere. Um, but yeah, I mean, if you're going out there and you're going into the woods and you're cutting down a tree, or you're buying it from Home Depot or whatever, you got a wooden tree, that's cool and all, but they cause about 160 home fires every year. Christmas trees. Don't blame the tree, but the tree's just being a tree. But it's definitely, you're bringing something very flammable into your home, right? During a time of year where you have a lot of other things on that tree that can cause fires, right? You got lights on it, you got who knows what on it, right? Um, and if those things spark when you're not around, right? Let's just say there's some kind of short in the house and those lights spark on the tree, and next thing you know, the tree goes up in flames. Well, that those things can happen. Murphy's Law, right? Murphy's Law is a very real thing. All right, so let's look at some of the recommendations about Christmas trees to keep your house a little safer during the holiday season. It says you can minimize the chances that your evergreen, talking about the tree, will go up in flames by following these Christmas tree safety tips. It says pay attention to your wires. All right. It says problems with the electrical distribution or lighting equipment. Okay, like I said, I'm talking about the lights there. They account for 34% of all Christmas tree fires. So you got to follow instructions for when you're putting up those lights. Okay, and make sure that they're on that. Of course, they're made for trees and stuff like that, and made to be put around your house and all that good stuff. But remember, when you're doing that, and if it's not done correctly, you can be actually setting yourself up for a big disaster there. So if watch how read the directions and follow them, as stated, so you won't have those problems. Keep trees away from any heat sources. That goes without saying. You don't want to put a tree next to like a heater or something like that, right? You don't want to put it next to a fireplace, like a radiator or anything like that. Just ridiculous, right? You don't, but sometimes we're not thinking, right? And if you don't know any better, right, you think it's okay to do that. That's why I'm doing this live, so you can at least have it in your mind that, look, I want to go into the next year with my house, right? And so anyway, so just make sure you keep your trees away from anything flammable, any heat source, or anything like that. Okay, so you want to make sure that it's watered. Yeah, it says make sure that your tree is somewhat damp, somewhat wet, right? And of course, that's because a fire will have a more difficult time burning a wet tree or a damp tree than a dry tree. Okay, so make sure it's damp, a little bit damp, and or at least I'd say hey, this sounds kind of extreme, but if you're gonna go through all that, at least have some water source close by, not just a cup of water to throw on it. You want to have maybe I don't know, maybe a bucket of water somewhere, a big full bucket of water or something like that, or maybe even a spray hose in case it does light on fire, right? Now, someone may say, "Oh, that's the worst thing you can do," but I mean, how else are you going to put it out? Or a fire extinguisher, that's even better. Okay. Another thing too is when all the festivities are over, a lot of us leave these dry Christmas trees and stuff like that, or plants or whatever, in the house. Sometimes months after the holiday season's over, depending on how much you into that holiday. And it's just there because you're like, but it's dry and it's really a hazard. You know what I mean? It's really a hazard to the home. You should get rid of it right away after the holidays. I'm not telling anybody to, depending on how you do it, but it's best, to get something like that out of your house. And because the drier it gets, the more flammable it becomes, and the more of a risk it becomes to your family. Okay. Especially if you got smokers and stuff in the house, if you got people that, things like that. So, yeah, it's easy to neglect these things because nobody really thinks about this stuff during the holiday season. But once again, that's why I'm here tonight. Yeah, so you also, like I mentioned before, you have artificial trees as well. And another thing about artificial trees is that sometimes some people are allergic to actual real trees like crisp pine trees and stuff like that. So um, an artificial tree would solve that or reduce the risk of people with severe allergies or sinuses or something like that. So yeah, that's something to think about as well. Okay. All right. What's next, guys? Any pointers? Anything that I did not mention so far? Anybody want to chime in? Chime in on that. Parago Life Notes once again. Christmas tree. Huh. Carbon monoxide poisoning from the heater malfunction. Yeah. Yep. Your heat source can malfunction as well. Um, like a space heater or something like that. They can not only cause fires, but they themselves can malfunction and emit poisonous, noxious fumes, and that can be just as bad as the actual fire. Believe it or not, right? It kills people. A lot of people that die um, from in their cars or whatever take their lives. They actually inhale carbon monoxide, and that's what takes them out. Right? It's not the actual fire. Yeah, a lot of people that die in actual fires and buildings and stuff like that. They've passed away because of the smoke, not necessarily being burnt up in the fire. So that's something to think about too. Okay. Hope I'm not putting a damper on you guys' holiday plans. I want you to come through it, alive and successful, right? Because it may not be you today, but it could be you anytime. Like it could be any one of us. And so yeah, please take heed. All right, let's see what else. It's gonna be a short live, guys. I'm not gonna be on it too long. Okay, so let's see what else I can throw at you guys to think about. All right. Here's something interesting. As far as safety, um, a lot of times people leave the house, travel for the holidays. Get out of town for a few days and stuff like that, go spend it with the relatives or whatever. And so a good thing to do is maybe think about installing cameras, some kind of security system on your house while you're gone. Um, some kind of. I remember one of my family members had a security system installed on one a piece of property there, and it was that was a while back, and I was like, wow, you can check on your home in another state. You know what I mean? Like just all you gotta do is turn on the camera. So it's nothing wrong with that. So you may want to see about that. I know they got like things like Ring cameras and all that stuff today, but if you don't have one, think about it, right? Especially if you travel a lot. Once again, this is all about preventative maintenance. Just because it hasn't happened to you yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen, right? I mean, I could talk about how many times my car's been stolen. I didn't think that it would happen, but it did happen several times, right? Okay, so all right, so yeah, so that's one thing you want to think about. We talked about your pipes in your home freezing up during the winter season. They have uh, apparently they have sensors. They call them smart sensors that you can actually put on your pipes that will detect if your pipes are in jeopardy of something happening or them freezing up. So um, that's very interesting to know that you can actually monitor something. Like you can't see that, you can't see in the walls, you can't see when your pipe's about to freeze up, but they have sensors now that can actually help you keep an eye on that stuff. And I don't have any numbers on how much that stuff costs, but just know that they're out there. um, you got a lot of mail. Here's another thing: you don't want to let your mail pile up, because people that are out up to no good are, you know we all seen the videos of people stealing Amazon boxes from in front of people's houses and stuff like that. Hey, that's just the world we live in. So you don't want to really give them give them a heads up. Like if you leave your mail piled up, or boxes of stuff, mail piled up in front of your house, it's been like that for days. People are keeping an eye on that stuff, and they're saying, oh, they must not be home. Oh, it's time, right? And so you don't want to do that. So if you're going to be traveling or something like that, make sure you have a neighbor or something keep an eye on your mail or any boxes that may have been delivered and put on your doorstep or something like that. Tell them to pick it up and put it in their house until you get back, because that's just a red flag, or I should say, a red flag to anybody or any up to no good person looking to make a quick buck, right, at your expense. So yeah. They do have snow shoveling services, guys. Any of you that live in, I'm sure you know this already. They have snow shoveling services for people that, say, if you're elderly or something like that, and you can't get out there and really, put your back into it like that anymore. Just hire somebody to shovel the snow. You don't want to be locked in. Here's another thing too that I would warn. I saw some years ago. I saw a video. Was it an actual video? But or I read a story. I read a story about someone that came home to their snow packed house during the wintertime, and it was so much snow on the roof. It was just a pile of snow on the roof that when they opened their front door, somehow the vibration or the whatever caused the snow to fall. I guess kind of like an avalanche off the roof, and it fell onto them and buried them alive. How crazy is that? You know what I mean? Imagine coming home and you get buried from the snow that fall, and yeah, it's just one of those freak things that happen. But yeah, so if you have a lot of snow, make sure piling up everywhere, make sure it's off of your roof, or at least over your front door. Because imagine if it was a little kid, right? They have less a chance of digging themselves out or something like that than an adult, a healthy adult would. And I think the person may have been, I don't know if it was them and their kid that got buried, but it was definitely somebody that got buried. I think it might have been the kid too, or two people. So a small kid and an adult. But that's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, so try to avoid that stuff. Get up on that roof and get that snow out of that way, at least from over the actual doors and stuff like that. So that something that won't happen to anybody. Yeah. So a couple more things you gotta keep in check. Is you want to make sure that your smoke detectors are in working order. I know a lot of times we get tired of hearing that, like the smoke detector go off, right? Maybe you're cooking and it's smoking a lot, and you say, I'm tired. Take the battery out of that thing, and you leave it there, and you never really replace it because you say I can get back to it anytime, but you never do. But that could be the thing that saves your life in an actual fire, right? So make sure that your smoke detectors are there all over the house, and make sure that test them. Make sure they have a test button on them. Make sure they're working, and don't ignore that. If you're going to be decorating a lot, consider getting some, like I said, flame retardant decorations. I'm pretty sure I got flame retardant, like I said, trees or something like that, or whatever, reefs or flowers or stuff like that. There's a market for that, and so they can definitely reduce the risk of anything happening in terms of like a fire. I know I've been talking about fires, but that's the main thing. That's the main risk when it comes to holidays, right? Fires. Yeah. The type of lights, like holiday lights you use during Christmas, a lot of people light up their yard. It looks like it's ridiculous. The amount of lights people put on their yards and on their homes. But you have to make sure that you're putting the right type of lights, believe it or not. Some of those lights are not meant to be outdoors. Some of them are meant to be indoors. Some of them are only meant to be outdoors. So if you don't do that, it can cause fire as well, believe it or not, right? Because you're dealing with electricity. And if you got all those lights, all that wattage just flowing through your property like that, all around your property, you're like, it should be a chain reaction. So make sure you take heed of that. Here's one. If you got a lot of smokers in your party, whether make sure that they stay outside. Tell them that they got to go outside to smoke. Most people know that. I know everybody doesn't smoke outside. But make sure that you're providing the smokers with something to put the cigarette out in. Right, have some ashtrays at least. I remember I grew up, we had ashtrays, a bunch of ashtrays around the house. I didn't grow up in a house full of smokers, but I guess it was there for the people that did smoke. Um, so you want to probably have like maybe a little small container of water or something where they can actually wet the cigarette butt before they actually toss them out. That's a good practice as well. And you know, don't leave lighters hanging around. You got little kids there. If you were a kid like me, I would have been I would have had a bunch of lighters and all kinds of stuff because I was just into stuff like little gadgets and trinkets and stuff like that. I was always trying to see how they worked, right? So if you got a kid running around, grabs lighters and stuff, you don't want to keep that. It's like almost like a gun, right? It's not as deadly immediately as a gun, but it can be just as deadly. Like if you got a kid that grabs a lighter, cigarette lighter, and they're just playing with it, they could set stuff on fire. I mean, kids do a lot of crazy things. So make sure if you want to be responsible, keep all that stuff out of the reach of kids, right? And let your friends know as well. Matter of fact, you probably have like a section where all the lighters go, right? That's where you would get the lighters from. And when everybody leaves, give them their lighter back. I don't know. I know you're probably shaking your head on that, but look, sometimes you got to do extreme things. Let's see. Fireworks. I don't think anybody's gonna be lighting fireworks during Christmas, but some people may. That some people just into fireworks like that. Those things, we know how dangerous that stuff are. I mean, it says about 10,000 people. Okay, last in 2022 ended up going to the hospital because of firework injuries. So yeah, so watch out for that. Let's see here. Paragood Life Now's all up in the chat. Freezing pipes while you travel. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's another good one, Paragood Life. Unplug all electronics. That's exactly not only good thing about unplugging electronics, right? Is not only is it a good way to mitigate any kind of fire hazard, it's also a good way to save electricity. They got something called phantom. What's it called? Phantom draw or something like that, where even though something may seem like it's off, it's still drawing electricity, right? I think maybe computers may be one, or other appliances or devices still draw electricity, even though the actual thing is off, so to speak, meaning that it's not in operation, but it's still drawing electricity. So if you want to save a little bit on your electric bill, unplug those devices. You can research them. I think I went over those in another live a while back. But yeah, good point, Burger Life Knows. Appreciate that. Let's see here. Talked about fireworks. It says keep kids away from turkey fryers. Never used a turkey fryer myself, but I imagine that they're they can be dangerous. But if you do have a turkey fryer, it says test the fill level of a fryer with water and your turkey to avoid overfilling. Completely thaw your bird. Talking about the turkey before frying to prevent splattering. Use a cooking thermometer to prevent overheating of oil. Okay. Use that thermometer. Use gloves to touch the lid, pot, and handles of a fryer. Of course, you don't want to burn yourself and all that good stuff. Let's see here. I think we went over a lot of this already. Yeah. Here's a little refresher. Keep your roof clear of debris. Don't burn cardboard or trash. Soak hot ashes in water and place them in a metal container. I think that they're talking about the ashes that come from your chimney. If you have like a chimney or something like that, and you got ashes coming out of there. Let's see. Oh, here's some more good points you need to take into consideration concerning Christmas trees. It says don't overload your electrical outlets. Okay. And all that. So yeah, you don't want to overload it too much with too many. Because all outlets are not meant to take a certain amount of load on them. Okay. All right. Well, all right, guys. That's about all I'm going to talk about tonight concerning safety, holiday safety. I just want to drop that on you. But if you are going to be traveling over the holiday season, especially this season coming, this weekend already coming up, be safe out there. All right, be safe on the road. Have a designated driver and all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next live. Appreciate Parago Latinos coming in supporting. Don't forget to go to calibrate.com, guys, and see what we have out there. We got some good deals, some great products for you, you DIY lovers. We got some great household tools and products for you. So check it out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.